heureuse d'être là. Merci à Arnaud et merci à Ivana. Je suis très heureuse de partager la poésie, les textes, les poèmes avec vous ce soir. Et la lecture va durer une trentaine de minutes. Je vais lire en anglais. J'ai sélectionné des poèmes très courts et je vais terminer sur une histoire orange. Il y aura question d'un frigo, d'une amoureuse, d'une femme amoureuse et de mes peurs. I don't own language. I never wanted to. I never even liked language or God. God and language were too forgiving for my taste. Language and God never took a stand. I couldn't bring myself to respect them for being so available. Who wants to be loved by someone who accepts everything? I lost interest rather quickly. Anyone can own language or God. I never lost interest. I'm interested in what must be claimed. The unclaimed female bodies in Roberto Bolaño's 2666 were believed to be whores, as if this makes it okay to rape, mutilate, fail in investigating violence against women, as if whore is an identity, like a nationality. Where do you come from? I'm a whore. Because we have names, everyone has the material to begin to write a poem, a position in language. Because we have bodies, everyone has the material to begin to write a poem, a position in absence. Because we have bodies, everyone has the material to begin to write a poem, a position in presence. Because we have bodies, everyone has the material to begin to write a poem, a position in breath. In 2003, I participated in a 10-day breathing workshop. And the workshop leader made me select a mother. I had to face the mother I selected. And the workshop leader said, open your palm, look inside of your palm. I opened my palm, I looked inside of my palm. My palm contained a bruise. On day 4 of the workshop, I had hit the floor real hard with my right hand. I had hurt the floor many times. I had made a bruise. The workshop leader said, you give it back to her. Now, tell her, I give you back your pain. I looked at my palm and I really didn't want to give the pain back. And I had no idea how the workshop leader came to know about what was inside my palm. I wanted to keep the bruise. I had made the bruise. The bruise was mine. I liked the color of the pain. But I tried giving it back to her. I said, I give you back your pain. Thank you for giving me life, Mother. Two months ago, I hired a professional lover. I was calm. I cried once, but that happened later. I cried inside the lover's apartment. The crying wasn't dramatic. I recognized the tears as other. Other tears recognize the soul and take responsibility for the soul. I felt comfortable inside the lover's apartment. I chose not to sit on the tiny cream-colored inflatable chair for children. Instead of taking the actions I sort of hoped I would take, actions I hoped the lover would force me to take, or at least encourage me to take, our history together has been about my relationship to the words mother, deserving, change. I'm able to work with a lover because she agreed to lower her rate. Johnny Depp and Leo DiCaprio lower their movie star rates when they are really into a script and want to make sure the script gets made into a movie. Lover. See also body. Pain. See also body. Body. Territory. Site. Past. Topography. Context. Orientation. Range. Language. Climate. Performance. History. Memory. Absence of. Aggression and beauty. Deformities and discipline. Etiquette. Healthy. Visible and invisible. No victim. Words. Constrained. Rule book. I feel very silly, charging for use of this bathroom. It is a temporary measure in place until we figure out another way to stop people from flushing syringes down the toilet, which has been costing thousands of dollars in replacement funds. If anyone has suggestions for other ways to deter intravenous drug users from destroying the plumbing, please let me know. Yours. I feel very silly charging for use of this bathroom. It is a temporary measure in place until we figure out another way to stop people from flushing syringes down the toilet, which has been costing thousands of dollars in replacement funds. If anyone has suggestions for other ways to deter intravenous drug users from writing love notes to pain, please let me know. Yours. We are not prioritizing the body recovery. We need to clear the roads, get electricity, get running water. That's our main activity. And as we're doing that, we'll find the bodies. We are not prioritizing the pain recovery. We need to clear the roads, get electricity, get running water. That's our main activity. And as we're doing that, we'll find the poems. Collected in Germany, August 2010. Regenwurm. Würfelzucker. Würfelzucker. Achterbahn. Beleidigung. Staub. Wahrheit. Lametta. Schlucht. Ohnmacht. On October 18, 2011, the lover asked me to put my fears in a visual container. Can it be open, I asked. I envisioned some of these rusty looking. J'ai quelque chose là, le français me vient. Je voulais vous dire que les questions là, le frigo, mes peurs, l'amoureuse. Je recommence. On October 18, 2011, the lover asked me to put my fears in a visual container. And can it be open, I asked. I envisioned some of these rusty-looking, open garbage containers. In the West, they often contain construction materials, are placed next to construction sites. In India, they look like abandoned spaceships. The one in my lane often houses a tiny woman in a sari and/or a boy, sorting through leaves, plastic, dirt, glass and pizza boxes. I wasn't sure if it was okay for my fears to fly up, if I wanted to allow for that option, if some sort of lip was needed for clarity or maybe against clarity. I would have hated to be contained, if some sort of lip was needed for sanity. I wouldn't have been comfortable with torturing my fears. I eventually chose a fridge as my container, an orange fridge. Orange because I had sat next to an orange fridge at Rose Bakery on Rue des Martyrs on Saturday afternoon eating lentil soup. The soup had some green herb in it. The German name for the herb is Schnittlau. The fridge stood on my right. Our shoulders almost touched. I don't know what was inside the fridge, if the fridge had a purpose beyond adding joy to the space. I began saying my fears out loud. The lover seemed to collect them in her lap. I can't be sure the lover collected my fears in her lap because my eyes were closed. With eyes closed, I heard myself speak my fears in the lover's direction. The lover said, "The fear of not being able to buy books goes into the fridge. The fears of not being able to buy music, perfume, and NARS lipstick go into the fridge. The fear of never being alone again just went inside the fridge. The fear of living in the street goes into the fridge right now. The fear of not being able to leave goes into the fridge. The fear of not wanting to leave when you really want to leave goes in the fridge. Your fear of not seeing India again is in the fridge now. I'm placing the fear of not having a place of your own in the fridge. I'm placing the fear of not having a place to return to in the fridge." When I was done saying my fears, the lover asked me to move the fridge outside of the lover's apartment. I said, "That's impossible, the fridge is very heavy." The lover said, "Use a trolley." It worked. I used a green trolley. The fridge looked good on the trolley. "How do you feel now?" the lover wanted to know. And with the fridge parked outside, I felt nervous. I felt alone. I felt I really needed to make it by myself now, all by myself. I felt I was being tested. I felt I had to prove new fears to the lover. "I'm feeling a little panicked," I said to the lover. "Can you try to locate the panic?" The lover asked. "Would you be able to come up with a good metaphor? What would be a good metaphor?" Maybe the lover had done business with poets before. I doubted it. I find the word metaphor deeply unattractive. I changed my opinion about the word metaphor because of Lisa Robertson. When I showed Lisa my yellow plastic rickshaw from India, she said, "Metaphor." The Greek word for transportation is metaphor. I did not expect the word metaphor to have wheels, a driver, and permanently open windows. I had hired the lover based on her flyer. The background color of her flyer is Prada green. Aesthetics are very important to me, as important as totality. Steve Jobs was obsessed with totality. His father taught him that the invisible parts are as important as the visible parts. I felt great relief reading this. Relief and sadness and hope. Forest hope. People who don't care about what is invisible make me want to die. Jobs was a purist. Purists come from love. Perfectionists come from fear. I come from Germany. I come from my mother. I come from God. I come from absence. It would have been possible for me to prove a fear to the lover that hadn't gone in the fridge yet. Logistically possible. I don't think the lover would have minded bringing the fridge back for an additional round of fear saying and fear placement. The lover was a professional. I paid for her time. And the lover's time was a function of my money and how I wanted to spend my money. My lack of money had caused me to contact the lover in the first place. The lover's time was a function of my desire. There was still space inside the fridge. I don't think my fears would have minded having company, but I couldn't be sure. I didn't want to risk contaminating my fears with a new fear. I wasn't sure who the new fear belonged to, if it belonged to me, if the new fear qualified as fear. Does shame qualify as fear? In my opinion, the fridge's interior light, the combination of glass and plastic, is too elegant a space to have to contain shame and other food items, with the exception of Nutella. Nutella emits light. Nutella is wasted inside a fridge. Opening a fridge has always felt like hijacking a movie that is in full session. Fridge members might experience the opening of the fridge door as an intermission. I don't know. I have never been inside a fridge. I have been following the desires of Kristin Herzer since 2002. I want to continue. In 2002, Kristin Herzer suffered a crisis of desire. She no longer desired what she had been desiring. She lost her ability to desire. And she lost her history. By history, I mean body history, not world history. Body history is alone made and therefore untranslatable. Herzer might not have known it at the time. The loss had to do with language. Last year, a young Indian poet asked Kristin Herzer, "The mother in your poem, is she a metaphor?" Poets work with and in metaphors all the time. The word poet is a metaphor. The word poet is a metaphor for space. I felt tempted to bring the fridge back. I've always been sensitive to the needs of fridge members. I believe Kristin Herzer has fridge experience. I decided not to bring the fridge back. I did not want to contaminate my fears with shame. In fact, my shame of not knowing what a metaphor was seemed to have erased the panic I had been feeling about not having my fears in the same room with me. Shame had neutralized my panic. Shame made me fearless. I could only imagine what shame would do to the fears I had already placed in the fridge. These fears were heartfelt, had value, a purpose. The fridge wasn't wasted on them. I wasn't going to let down my fears by contaminating them with shame. And I wasn't going to devalue the fridge either. Containers deserve respect. Poets are containers. Containers can appear unattractive because of what's inside. A fridge, for example, is powerless over its insides. The lover said, "Let's bring the fridge back. Where do you want to put it?" I pointed to the wall behind me. I placed the fridge between the wall and my body. The lover could see the fridge. I couldn't see the fridge. I saw the lover. The lover asked if I had any instructions pertaining to the fridge. I felt bored. I really didn't feel like explaining to the lover that I would be the only person allowed to open the fridge and that the fridge had my back. It seemed obvious. I was also clear about the fact that no objects would be placed on top of the fridge or taped against the fridge. I stared at the lover. I didn't speak, because there was no need to talk aesthetics, not with a lover. If there had been a need to talk aesthetics with the lover, I would have been fucked, deeply fucked. The lover said, how would you show compassion towards your fears? I said, it's cold. The fridge is a very cold place. The fears need warmth, a lot of warmth. She said, okay, give warmth to the fears. I said, are you serious? Isn't that crazy? I felt scared. I began to doubt my choice of lover. Maybe the lover needed to repair her mind. Maybe the lover's mind had no skin. And too much light. Too much love. Maybe the lover wrote unanswerable poems in her spare time. J'ai apporté quelques poèmes que l'amoureuse a écrits. Voilà, les poèmes sont dans un petit verre. Je ferme la citation. Je vais juste choisir un petit poème. Je vais vous lire le poème. Root, underactive, 0%. Sacral, open, 58%. Navel, underactive, -6%. Heart, open, 51%. Throat, open, 50%. Third eye, open, 44%. Crown, open, 56%. What do you think happens to the fears when they receive warmth? The lover asked. This interested me. Well, I said, actually, I don't know. I would think they might get bigger and leaner, but maybe not. Maybe they shrink. I thought of balloons. Maybe they like the warmth. Maybe they start to feel sleepy. What I wanted to say was balloon, balloons, red balloons. As I listened to myself see, I began to feel. So the fears are softening, is that what you're saying? The lover asked me to clarify. I hadn't said a word. The lover clearly had no idea I was seeing balloons, red balloons, and that I was feeling something on the inside of my body, and that it had nothing to do with fear. Do you remember a time when you showed compassion toward yourself? I looked at the lover. I noticed her beauty and slim figure. I noticed her clothes and her jewelry. I enjoyed looking at the lover. It was weird. Because the compassion thing, the compassion memory, the lover requested of me, was available to me without thinking. Skin is history. Poetry is writing skin. I felt my bedroom in India, and I felt myself in an orange robe. I saw the pictures I had taken of my face that day, the day spent in orange. I had been working with a Reiki master at the time. Every day I wore a different colored robe, symbolizing the 7 chakras. The day I wore blue had been difficult. I didn't tell the lover about my blue day. The lover pointed out to me that I had chosen an orange fridge to contain my fears. The lover said, your fears need a lot of orange. The lover said, it struck me that one theme in your transformation is an inherent belief in scarcity in life towards abundance in life. Does this have an impact?